at Chapman. And now joining us on the River Islands guest line are 95.7 The Game Giants insider and voice of the Giants for NBC Sports Bay Area, Dave Flemming. Dave, good morning. How you doing, man?
Good morning, guys. I haven't had my morning roast yet, but here I am with you.
Dave, yesterday that game was, I can't remember how many times in Logan's career he's had a 3-run lead before he's thrown a pitch, which was awesome, right, to start with. But I want to break down just kind of the feel, from your vantage point of how to manage someone like Logan Webb. I'm watching the broadcast like you are, and, he didn't have his best stuff, it felt like. Then, 5th inning, he strikes out Tatis, Machado, Jackson Merrill, and he's screaming into his glove as he's coming off the mound. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't care what the pitch count is. If he wants to go back out there one more inning, I think you got to kind of just listen to him because not all pitch counts are created equal. I don't know how much stress, how's his arm feeling. And I loved that Tony Vitello let him go back out there for the 6th inning. It's the 2nd day in a row. He did it also with Landon Roop. I love that whatever the communication was, that he trusted his guy to go back out there. And I think Webb ended it on a high note. And I just love the way he managed that situation right there. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I do too. Look, mostly it's on Logan, right? Logan fought through. And a lot of games, he doesn't have to do that. A lot of games, Webb just brings the A stuff, and that's that. And he kind of has his normal start, and last night was definitely not like that. Last night, definitely, Webb had to fight himself. He just wasn't as sharp as he usually is for those first few innings. And so, most of the credit goes to Logan for however he did it. And I always admire this about athletes who can do this, like in the middle of the competition. It's one thing to self-correct and fix when you're throwing on the side or you're in practice or whatever. When you're doing it, when Manny Machado's staring at you or Fernando Tatis is staring at you, that's pretty impressive. And so he definitely found something last night. And I think probably it was 2 things. Number one, he's the leader. There's no pitch, there's no chains on Logan Webb and what he can do. He's the guy on this team. So it makes the decision a little easier. And I think probably also the fact that the 5th inning was by far his best inning and he seemed to find it. Let's emphasize that. Yeah, I think some managers or coaches might say, all right, let's end on a high note and there's something positive and we'll take it into next time. And I think for Vitello and probably for everybody else in that dugout, it's more like, okay, he found it. Let's let him emphasize to himself that, all right, things are good. I'm myself. And then you're feeling real good heading into Sunday, presuming that's the next time he pitches.
What have you made so far, Dave, of the starting pitching? I know it's early, so only some of these guys have, one start in their belt. We're going to see Hauser for the first time today.
Roop was awesome.
Roop's been great.
Awesome.
Robbie Ray, you know what you're going to get with him. I thought it was a great bounce-back performance yesterday from Webb, who struggled in opening night against the Yankees. What have you seen for the pitching staff so far?
Robbie Ray got sort of hidden because he ended up giving that home run. And so the final line didn't look great. It's pretty, I trust Patrick Bailey when he says that's the best stuff that Robbie Ray's had as a Giant. When he said that, I was like, oh, okay. He's worked real hard. You heard him during spring training, Robbie, talk about finally for the first time since his injury, kind of feeling like the mechanics were exactly the way they needed to be. And I think it most affects his slider. Slider wasn't a great pitch by the numbers last year. Slider was awesome against the Yankees. So, I was really excited about Robbie. I think that unlocks a different level for him. Roop obviously was really good. Malley's solid. Giants starting rotation is more than good enough. It's not that deep right now. So you're relying on these 5 guys. The part of the reason why Wisenhunt didn't make the team, why McDonald didn't make the team, they're down at AAA trying to build up and be that next layer, that sort of safety net. And I think those guys both can be that for this team, but the depth is not tremendous. So those 5 guys, go get them. For now, I think it's plenty good enough.
The lineup is just scrutinized to the nth degree every day. Who's where? Who are we facing? What are the matchups? How are we splitting up the righties and the lefties? Just for a couple days. And I know it's a living, breathing organism. It will change a lot. I love Adames in the leadoff spot because he's going to get a lot of good pitches to see with Devers right behind him. And I love Devers being in the 2-hole because I want to get that guy up as many times as possible. Do you think they're going to ride this for as long as they can? Meaning Adames, Devers, 1-2?
Yeah, I haven't seen the lineup for today yet, but my guess is that Adames will be in that leadoff spot again. And I'm with you. I like it. You look around baseball, and there are a lot of teams that are doing this, like putting one of their best, most powerful hitters in the leadoff spot. Ohtani's the obvious one, but it's not just Ohtani. Like the A's have had Nick Kurtz leading off here at the start of the year, which seems funny, but it's like there are reasons why you might do that. And Adames looked really good last night. That goes without saying. So I'm kind of with you. I like this look. I think for the Giants, one thing about everybody obsesses about lineup order way too much, because with this team, the same guys are going to be in there. This is a team that is not going to be doing a lot of platooning, mixing and matching. The players are going to be in there, whatever order they're in. If everybody's swinging the bats well, it's going to work. If they're not, it's not going to work. Like the order isn't that critical to what the Giants are trying to do. However, because this team is so right-handed and doesn't have options off the bench to pinch hit and match up in the late innings, I mean, that is an issue for this team right now. It really is. That is going to cost them as the season goes on, and it's something that I think they're going to have to fix as they go. It puts a premium, to me, on you got to break up those few left-handers that you have in there for now and make it, at least if you're in that part of the lineup in the late innings, make it a little harder on opposing managers to just get the perfect matchup. We saw the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees kind of toyed with the Giants that way by using a bullpen that, for the Yankees, by their standards, is not that. I mean, they don't have a bunch of dominators in their bullpen, and yet they found themselves easy matchups all weekend long. Now, that largely is because the Giants just came out of the gates real slow. But that's an issue for this team, and I think that's another reason why I'm with you. I like that Adames Devers cadence at the top of the order. That feels like a tough spot for me if you're an opposing manager.
95.7 The Game, Giants insider and voice of the Giants for NBC Sports Bay Area, Dave Flemming here, courtesy of the River Islands guest line. All right, Dave, we've buried the lead. We're 8 minutes into this thing. The media scrutiny and fervor on Tony Vitello's comments after the first couple games against the New York Yankees, and we just reacted to, I don't know if you saw the sound, Jim Bowden, former executive, obviously been a part of the media. This is on foul territory. He kind of went at Vitello yesterday in an interview. Just the fervor around Vitello and the scrutiny of his post-game interviews, something to monitor all the season. What was going through your mind when you saw the reaction?
Yeah, I didn't hear some of those, sound bites that you were from the outside that you're referencing there. So I don't specifically know about some of that. It's definitely the case that Tony is under a huge microscope. Tony likes to talk. He likes to have a laugh. He likes to joke. He likes to show some personality, and that probably will get him in some spots where, some of these things early on, it's like, it's obvious to me. I don't know, maybe folks around this sport aren't very social, emotional aware. Like, it's obvious to me some of this stuff is being said with a twinkle in his eye. Like, he says some of this stuff definitely kind of teasing or joking or trying to get a little laugh or whatever. And like everything is being taken as like the literal police are out in full uniform with Tony Vitello. And it just seems to me like, can we read the room, people? Like, at least listen and watch and maybe get to know him a little before we start to overreact on this stuff. I think he's doing a really good job so far. Very difficult spot for him. I think he's handling it really well. Like, there's probably no manager in the last 20 years who's been more scrutinized in their first few games than this guy. And then your team comes out and doesn't hit in the first few games, and it's like, that's Tony's fault or something. Like, please. So I will say, I think the thing about the opening day, and then I'll shut up about this because I think it's a nothing There's nothing to any of this. The opening day thing to me almost felt like this guy's going out of his way to say, I'm going to take the bullets. I want to protect my players. I want to establish that I'm protecting my players. So he says this thing about maybe I got a little too emotional in the pregame. To me, that's just purely a technique by a leader trying to say, don't get on my guys. It's early. Get on me. If you're going to get on somebody, get on me. And why you would take that like so seriously, I don't know.
You are like preaching to my soul right now. I'm arguing against everyone. And all I'm saying is like everyone needs to relax. He's just saying words. I don't even know if he knows what he's like coming out of his mouth. As someone that says a lot of things, and sometimes I don't know what's coming out of my mouth. I mean, I takes one to know one. But in terms of his managerial stuff, like the stuff that he's doing in game, the procedural things, maybe they should have walked Aaron Judge with an open base on Friday. Just little things. Who to go to in the bullpen. I think for the most part, he's done a pretty good job, and there haven't been a lot of opportunities to maybe pinch hit for somebody in the ninth inning trailing in a game. You bunted after Casey yesterday. He showed no bunt and takes a strike, and then he lays down a bunt, and he only gives himself really one opportunity to lay down the bunt. That's a little grievance I might have, but like procedurally and how he's managed the team, have you had any issues, Dave, from your vantage point?
No issues. I mean, he's hardly managed it all in the first few games. He's hardly had to do anything, and that's part of this Giants roster right now is, I'm not saying it's autopilot. There are always decisions to be made, always, and you mentioned a bunch of them there. So it's not to say that he won't have an influence on this team, but I think the main thing he's doing early in the year is like, hey, I've got a team of veteran guys who have been here before, and I'm going to give them a lot of leeway early on to work through their timing issues or work through, the beginning of the season bugaboos and whatever. And the bullpen usage has been interesting to me to see how he kind of sees those guys lining up. That has been interesting to me. I think we can learn a few things from the way he's used those players. The other thing is he's only had one. Now, part of it is probably most of it is because Giants relievers has done an excellent job overall. There's only been one mid-inning pitching change. So I think that tells you a little something about, Tony wants to, his preference would be like bring a guy in and you do your job and the next inning will go to the next guy. Doesn't want to have a quick hook or anything like that. So look, I even the Judge thing, like you got a kind of a brand new guy, Baraki, and you're learning about him and you're trying to learn. And it's a hard, painful lesson to learn when you give up a home run that, ends up helping decide the game. But, you're trying to learn, can I trust this guy to pitch around somebody? Can I trust this guy to, like, he's a lefty killer. That's going to be his job on this team. But with the rules in baseball now, you can't only face lefties. So you learn something about the guy. Did it cost you? Maybe it cost you, but I think that information is valuable.
It's funny you bring up some of the bullpen arms. I like Gage, Killian. Wow. You see the delivery and you're like, there might be something there. But let's get to the two guys everyone's been talking about over the last 2 days. It's Keaton Winn and how outstanding he looks. And then Ryan Walker, who, just didn't have command and he looked very predictable. And I thought he was in a lot of trouble there in the ninth inning. How do you view the last few innings for the Giants over the next week or two?
Yeah, over the next week or two, I think Ryan Walker's the guy. Well, Ryan Walker's going to get a chance to be the guy. He's the one who's done it before. You can't you judge on one outing or even two outings or three. It's just not fair to these guys. And it's such a hard job where you have one day where you don't have it and your numbers all get screwed up and it looks like you're not doing your job at all. A hitter has one day where you don't have it and it's like, oh, you went 0 for 4. That's baseball. So the relievers, especially early in the year, there's way too easy to overreact to. So for now, I think it's Ryan Walker's job. Here's the thing about Keaton Winn and all these other guys basically in the Giants bullpen. You don't know for sure. The stuff looks great. The results are great. But you don't know for sure if that changes if you get the ball in the ninth inning. It can. So, at some point you probably test that with some of these guys, on a day where, say, Ryan's gone back to back and you can't, perfect opportunity to test somebody and how they handle the pressure of the ninth inning, because it is different. And so you got to be careful about always thinking you can just totally plug and play these guys into whatever situation. That it doesn't always work that way. I will say this about Caleb Killian, because we've only seen him the one time, I think. Have you seen him a second?
No,
time?
just,
I think
just the once. He was intriguing.
He's got good stuff.
Aaron Boone said to me, I was over talking to Booney the next day, and Boone was like, "Oh, we like that guy. That was good. That was a good look for him." He singled out Caleb Killian and said, "Oh, we like that guy." So that's pretty high praise. I mean, the Yankees are into big time stuff. And so I think, for him to say that to me just offhand, like, "Oh, that guy, you got something in that guy," tells me, like, I think Caleb Killian has a real chance.
Well, they might have something. Camilo Duvall looked pretty good in his own right. Obviously, so I'm rooting for Camilo. Obviously, it didn't end well with San Francisco, and at times last year with the Yankees, it was not well at all. Talking to Dave Flemming here on the Morning Roast, courtesy of the River Islands Guest Line, Giants broadcaster, 95.7 The Game, Giants Insider. Speaking, you said testing a lot there. The ABS system was tested a lot in the minors and in spring training. What have you made of it so far, Dave?
Well, I think your point right there is a very good one, in that baseball's done an incredible, whatever you think about baseball, and it's easy to dump on Rob Manfred and baseball doesn't know what they're doing and this and that. And baseball's done an amazing job with the pitch clock and now with the ABS of using the minor leagues as a testing ground and hitting the ground running when they implement these massive changes. These are big changes to the structure of the game, like big, and almost no blips in either instance. Like, just sort of, okay, it's integrated, it's working. I have been surprised by the ABS. Well, a couple things. I've been surprised by the fan reaction. Seems like fans actually really like it. My hope was sort of like neutral. Like, let's have let's have the ABS just not interfere with the game and see how it goes. I think it's actually been like the baseball fans are talking about it all over, and it's a huge topic of conversation. And in the park specifically, at home, I guess I'm at all these games, so I don't know your guys' experience of watching at home, what it's like. In the park, there's definitely like a moan of drama, and the fans get into it if their teams, wins a challenge or something. So that's been kind of surprising to me. The other thing is, it's definitely true that the strategy changes big time. Spring training was a joke in terms of the strategy of it. Everybody was just, everybody was just like, I'm going to challenge to see if I know what I'm doing. And the game theory like stuff of how you use it is totally different when the games count. That's been interesting to me to watch over these first few.
Well, and you said it there, like it's turning into a spectacle, and that's what I thought it could be from like the tennis perspective. They have the Hawkeye. And if you ever watch like a Grand Slam event, Wimbledon, Australian Open, when one of the players challenges, it turns into a thing. Everyone starts clapping and clapping and clapping, and then they reveal it, and then the crowd either goes crazy or not. That's kind of what it's turned into.
But I also think you're talking about the at-home viewing.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, the other day, Tatis challenged one, and I was like, I might have challenged the pitch prior to that. He didn't. And then in the ninth inning, the Giants had an extra challenge, and Walker's kind of struggling. Bailey challenges it, and I'm like, even if he doesn't get this challenge, I kind of like pausing the action here, because I think Ryan Walker needed a deep breath. You know what I mean? So it can be used in a variety of ways. Yep. Later on in the game, it doesn't have to necessarily be to steal a strike. It can also be to just kind of pause the action. I think we're learning a lot about it.
And the Bailey example is a good one where, like, already we're getting leaderboards. Like, seriously, we're getting leaderboards? Like, I guarantee you Patrick Bailey is one of a handful, maybe number one, of the guys who you would most trust to know exactly how to use this system. And yet he's going to get dinged on the stat sheet because he did it. It's the ninth inning. You have one left. Your pitcher's struggling. Even if you think, I don't know about that one, it's a good time to use it. Like, that's a good challenge, even though he didn't win it. And now it's going, Bailey lost a challenge there. Like, that's where we need a lot more time to judge the leaderboard aspect of this. But yeah, and And look, the Tatis one is also a good example of, I guarantee you after the game, the Padres, put their arm around Tatis or however they do it over on that side and said, look, man, you needed to challenge that pitch. And the Padres had lost a challenge early in the game. And my guess, purely a guess, I didn't go over there and talk to him about it yesterday, but my guess is like that's in the back of everybody's mind. Tatis, like, we only have one left. If I don't get it right, then we're out of them. Whereas, that was such an important moment of the game. It was definitely worth it for them to challenge. And I'm sure they deliver that message like, okay, we're down to one. It's the fifth inning and it's a lower leverage spot. Then don't use it. But ninth inning, we want you to use it there. And that's where players, coaches are all kind of learning how to navigate this system. It's also where losing one early changed the game. Yeah. It changed it changed Bailey, the Adames challenges in the first inning 2 nights ago. And Bailey, there were like, I'm sure you guys noticed watching, there were like 6 or 7 pitches in the game where you watch Bailey receive and he holds it for a second and he's thinking, and then he just throws it back to the pitcher. And, he probably would have challenged a few of those.
It's interesting. We'll leave you with this one, Dave. You're locked in on your Giants. You do college ball great. You're locked in on the NFL. Well, we got a report yesterday that Stephen Curry might be returning on Sunday. He's been out for 2 months. We've been having so many conversations. Joe and I are lockstep. It's like we got 5 games to go. We got to play in. Let's shut this guy down. We don't want him to get hurt again. Just as a fan, do you want Steph back for the last 5 games in a play-in spot, Dave?
Yeah, 100% yes. 100%.
Real 100%? 100%?
They're paying Steph Curry $75 million this year. If he is healthy, play. It's not that complicated. Like, he is what everybody wants to see with the Warriors. Now, if he's not healthy, don't play. But if you're healthy, he's saying he's healthy, why would you not play? I don't understand why you wouldn't play if he's healthy. Play.
Well, you might get a lottery pick.
Yeah, come on. You might get like Camboose or something.
We might win the lottery.
And I mean, okay, that's fine. So we're tanking the rest of the year. Is that it? We don't want to make the playoff?
Kind of.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, if the season were already shot and there's 0 chance, okay, but play.
All right.
Dave, I love you.
We love you, Dave. Thanks so much, man. We'll do it again next week.
I'm going to the Masters next week, so we're going to have to dance around the schedule.
Wow.
So I'll be in.
Throw it in my face, why don't you, Dave? Thanks. Appreciate that.
Are you bringing your sticks?
I do. It's like my 7th.
Are you bringing your sticks?
I am going to bring my clubs this time. Not to play the club. I won't be playing Augusta National.
Little Aiken Club?
There's a lot of good golf around there.
Have fun.
Well, enjoy that, Dave. We appreciate it, man.
See you guys.
Have a good one. God, I love it.
There he goes. What's coming up on the game is sponsored by Cache Creek Casino Resort. You will love